We're live, and obviously right now no one's watching us. So let me record here. It's because it's gonna play the intro automatically. I can stop it though.
Just get rid of it.
I just have to click on it. It's not stopping. That's funny.
End recording. Okay, well, since we're waiting, we got 3 minutes, 4 minutes.
Yeah, before we get started,
So
just, I'll cut it off.
on this also, on
Yeah.
live.
No, it'll record to Twitch, and then I can download it from there. That's how I've been getting it because I haven't gotten them off your computer yet.
Right.
And then, um,
I'm gonna be muted or no?
what?
Muted or no?
Yeah, this is.
Us.
Oh, I don't know.
We're not. That's why. Do
Oh,
you want
you
me to
got
mute?
muted.
Okay.
Welcome to Hot Takes. Today, we're diving into a strange paradox of college life. Feeling alone while being surrounded by people. Homesickness is real, and finding your community isn't magic, it's an active effort. This episode is about navigating those initial rough waters and taking small, brave steps to build your new support network. Now let's get the show started. Here are the Murph Man and Connor.
All right, today's episode: feeling alone when surrounded by people. Did you think that was possible, Connor?
Feel alone? Yeah.
Yeah, to feel alone with people around you. That's what depression's like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
everyone around you can be happy, and you could go to an event and you should be happy and you're not. You could be angry or whatever, but here you're homesick and you miss home. That's one of those things that you don't really you can't prepare for that until it happens. No matter how much you want to go somewhere, you you're gonna miss home. I'll give you an example. The friend that we have the studio at right now, she's out of town and she misses her home. She misses her bed. She misses her dogs, right? That's homesick. It's temporary. She's coming back, but it's homesickness. So it's not necessarily only when you go to college or when you join the military, but even when you go on vacation. Like, have you ever left on vacation and missed your bed or missed your room or missed the house?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What do you miss? Like when you're out. What do you miss most when you're not at home?
My Xbox.
All right. I'll give you props for that one. All right. Your Xbox. Hey, kids nowadays, right? What can we say? But I gotta tell you something. I think it's time to get things started. Let's jump into the segment that always burns the most, the burning question. Let me say that again. Did you start it? To get things started, let's jump right into the segment that's always,
So like it's recording.
I know.
Kinda. We have someone not recording. By the way, this is a recording. We're not live
Well,
on Stream
Stream-
Streamlabs we are. StreamYard we're not. So
yeah, so we're trying out some things. Just tell them.
well, you
All
have
right.
a mic also, dude.
To get things started, let's jump right into the segment that's always bringing the heat, the burning question. Now you got to introduce the segment.
Today's question is related to our main topic, finding your community in college. Here it is. In a new environment like college, what is the term for a person, place, or routine that provides a sense of stability and connection? Is it A, a social anchor, B, identity exploration, homesickness? I'll give you a minute to think about it. So, Murphman, what is the answer?
You look at those three options: a social anchor, identity exploration, or homesickness. I wonder what it could be. Homesickness, right? C. Let me tell you guys something about this.
What?
Let me tell you guys something about this. No one, we're the discussion part right now.
That's the wrong answer, Murphman. But A. Flashpoint.
Okay, hold on. I thought it was going to be obvious. I could have played it off. You would have just let me.
No.
Okay. All right, you ready? Just pause. And just look at the camera. All right. Well, today's question is related to our main topic, finding your community in college. And here it is. It's a new environment like college, right? So we're looking either at the social anchor, the identity exploration, or homesickness. And you'll probably think it's homesickness, right? Because that's what we're covering today. But no, the answer is A, social anchor. A social anchor can be anything that makes you feel grounded. A new friend, a favorite spot, your bed, whatever the case may be, a weekly meeting. Finding that one thing where you can get grounded and pushes back against homesickness. Now, I will tell you, I'll share a personal story here. When I got divorced from my first wife, I turned to a group of friends in the club that I'm with. And, I wasn't suicidal. Okay, I wasn't suicidal. But I was depressed after my divorce. And I really didn't want to do anything. And I lived my life week to week. I mean, I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't trying to die or anything, but week to week. And that's what got me through the thing. So even though it wasn't so much homesick, that's where I felt comfortable. That's where I felt grounded. Actually, that's where I met your mom. That first time I went to that club. We weren't dating or anything at that point, but because
I would hope not.
I was going through my divorce, right?
Just met her.
That doesn't mean anything.
Date someone you just meet literally then and there.
You ever heard of a one night stand?
Not dating.
Okay, but if you go back for seconds and you go back for thirds, at what point do you start dating?
Whenever you guys actually hang out instead of the bed.
Well, first of all, you're not gonna believe this, but my wife was a virgin when we got married, so nothing like that happened. But what I'm saying is, you could date someone, and at what point does it become a date? When you do something besides having sex? Is that it?
You go out to do stuff and enjoy to each other's company.
And when you
That
enjoy each
doesn't
other's
involve
company,
sexual activity.
so that's how you decide dating.
Yeah.
Interesting, interesting.
You make a
So,
proposal like marriage. How do you marry someone?
well, you gotta ask them to marry you.
Exactly. Same
You
thing
know,
to date. You have to ask to be like the lover, girlfriend, boyfriend.
okay, I can see that. And what if you never say we're dating and you just keep hanging out and you never say that?
Then what would that be? You gotta put a label
I
on it,
call that
right?
well, when you
Yeah.
introduce them, is it my friend or is it my boyfriend, my girlfriend?
Someone you're talking to is what we say.
Right. But what if
Because you're
you're
talking and
but
getting to know them,
so you're not dating until you actually use the word dating?
or as in you make it official, yes.
All right. You have to
Like
make it
like
official.
Beyonce, like, for marriage. Oh no, that's when you ask already, huh?
Yeah.
What would it be?
You're courting is the phrase. You're courting someone to date them and trying to get their attention and everything.
Same thing, but
Then once you become dating is when you become
dating. Ta-da.
uh, what's the word you're looking for? When you're not cheating on anyone, you become but what's
A
the word?
lover?
Thank you.
Not a
I'm
not a
sorry.
cheater.
I'm glad I'm recording this. No, no. When you commit to someone,
Okay, your lover?
you're committed to that one person.
Yes.
That's the word I was looking for. Committed.
A mission. Okay.
No, committed. You're
What?
committed to that person. And it's committing, by the way. So
Oh, you can't be
so you
talking.
can commit to that person. What do you mean I
Yes.
can't be
Yes.
talking?
Keep going.
You can commit to one person.
Yeah.
Okay. And that means no others, right? So that's when you're officially dating. So you're hanging out until you actually decide, I'm not going to date anyone else. It's only going to be you.
But you still gotta ask, make it official. You need
Right.
an official date.
Have you ever heard of E&M? Ethical non-monogamy. That's what everyone calls it when you're seeing more than one person. You let the people know you're seeing other people. So you're in a dating situation, but you're not dating because you're not committed. But you can say, hey, I have friends, you have friends. Okay.
We have friends.
Oh, yeah, we have friends. Yeah. You know, that's the thing. Is it dating or not? Now, until you officially say dating, that's one of those things that is curious. And this is completely off subject
I was
here.
gonna say, I'm like, we've been talking something off subject,
Yeah.
so yeah.
But it is important because when you meet someone, all right, I'm going to bring it back. When you meet someone when you're homesick and you find that friend, see, it's going to play into it. But when you meet someone and you're talking to them and you're hanging out, and then you start getting feelings for each other, right? You ask the girl asks you, what do you feel? Do you feel like you could date me? Is that what I'm feeling too, or is that just me? Right? Something like that. So, some kind of conversation. And what if she says, well, I only see you as a friend? And I say, okay, what is there a possibility that we will be dating? Because if not, I need to bounce, right? So you don't actually have to say, I'm committing to you, only you, but hey, you're someone I want to date. And then if that happens, great. If it doesn't, well, it doesn't. You know what I mean? So when you're in college and you're lonely and you're out there and you're trying to make friends, people tend to be a little more friendly, right? And you might start seeing somebody. Is that going to be something you're dating? And if you're dating, you break up, you're going to be depressed. You know what I mean? So when you're homesick, you tend to do things impulsively. So everything I always talk about is have a plan of some sort. You want to go somewhere and you want to say, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. You know what I mean? And that's what we're going to talk about today. When you go out there and you meet your people, okay, you might meet a girl and she might just be very friendly. Doesn't mean that she wants to date you. Okay. I had a girl when I was in Cuba, I was married. We hung out so much, but it was only for dancing. And we hung out, you know what I mean? But nothing ever happened between us. Okay. But it was interesting because if we were not married, we could have dated, I think.
You think?
I think,
Sure.
yeah, I'm pretty sure. But we were both married and we respected that. I don't know why I did, but you know, but yeah, so I think it's time to move on to the next segment.
Let's move straight into the core idea. Wait, hold on. Let me do it again. Hold on.
Pause.
Pause.
And you don't have to read it word for word. You can just get the gist of it.
That's the thing I can't. Okay. Say it again.
You know what kind of thing? It's time they hear my take for today.
Yeah. Let's move straight on into today's hot take.
Here is today's hot take.
Today's hot take is it's a huge paradox of college. You can be surrounded by thousands of people and still feel completely alone. Homesickness is normal, and finding your people is an active process, not an accident. What do you think about that, Murph man?
So it's not so much that you're finding your people. Okay, that's not, how can I put this? You don't have to go somewhere where you're going to be like, oh, I definitely like this and I don't like this. You know what I mean? We're not going to do that. We're going to go somewhere and feel where we feel comfortable is what it means. Okay, your people. And I can tell you with the club that I'm in, you know which club I'm referring to.
Also.
There, I can be myself. There's no judging. There's nothing, right? And a bunch of our friends come very close, right? Even one of them from the club became your godfather, God rest his soul, But those are my people. And what I mean by that is, I don't mean like, my peeps. I mean like, that's who I want to be around. I can go there, and if I decide to curse, I can curse. If I want to be stupid, I can be stupid. Those are the kind of people I like hanging around with, you know? When you're with your friends, what do you look for in your people?
Well, I look for like a group of people that I could trust, that I could be myself in, and I don't have to hide it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. For you to be yourself.
Oh, I thought you asked me a question.
No, I am.
Okay, then.
I was saying, what do you consider your people? Trust is to have friends, but when
Well,
you think of a
no,
group of people,
because you could have trust, but you can't tell them everything.
right? So that's more like relationship stuff, friendship stuff, intimacy stuff. I'm talking about when you're looking for people. What are you looking for? When you want to hang out somewhere, what are you looking for?
Someone that looks like me. Well, not looks, but like acts like me.
Okay, so
Or has the same humor, or just click that fast.
sometimes you can be somewhere and you say something, someone laughs with you, and you're like, "That's my guy,"
Yes.
right? One thing we do a lot, we go Dave and Buster's for football, and we should be there tonight. The Bills are playing.
I know.
By the way, we are recording this. We're going to be playing on Saturday, but at Dave and Buster's,
Yeah, college is really.
at Dave and Buster's, we're like, they already know who we are. We're regulars, right?
There you go.
And there's some staff there that I think is awesome, and there's some that I don't really talk to, right? But they're doing the same job, but there's a certain vibe you get from them, right? So you don't have to be at some place specific to meet somebody. It's people that like the things that you do, that are doing the things you do. And when you go out of town, Well, let me use an analogy here. If you're a drug addict, okay, when I was a counselor, I had kids who they would send them to their tios or tias, their aunts or uncles. They would send them to their aunts and uncles so because they were trouble at home, because they hung around with bad kids at home, they were doing drugs at home. If we move them to El Paso, that won't happen. But you're just going to go to El Paso and find your people again, right? So sometimes changing the environment doesn't change anything. It's finding the people that are going to be a positive influence in your life. Because it's real simple. We could go to the bar and get drunk and meet friends and have fun and go back to the right. That's not what we want to do. We want to find someone that's positive for us on top of everything. So not just finding your people. What?
Been to the bar.
Yeah.
And,
Right.
I mean, it's not. I don't have to not go to the bar.
Well, who are you thinking of?
Oh, Ralph
Oh, okay. No,
and the guy from um the big
the big
Texan.
Texan,
Yeah,
Alex,
Alex.
Alex the
Right.
Russian.
Big, tall, bald Russian guy with tattoos. He is the most like stereotypical Russian man you'll ever see.
Yeah, but he's lives in America. He actually is from like Amarillo or something.
Yeah,
Anyway,
he's from Texas for sure.
um, but what was funny about him is we're sitting at the bar and I'm trying out some beers, you know. We're not sitting at the table and they let Connor hang out with us there at the table. And there's this guy next to us and starts ordering beer and he tells me, "Oh, you want that this beer?" And I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Oh, that one tastes so bad." I said, "That's why I'm trying it. I'm sampling. That's what we're doing right now." And I was sort of like, "Shut up," you know? And then I was, "What kind of beer do you like?" And then he tells me, and I'm like, "That's this beer." So the bartender was like, "What?" I said, "Here, he's saying that this beer sucks, but that's the beer that he's drinking, right?" And he goes, "Yeah." Then the guy goes, "Which one am I not liking?" So he's already drinking. He starts sampling. I start sampling. We start sharing stories. Before you know it, Connor's pulled into it. Before you know it, this other table's pulled into us, remember? And we all just were standing at the bar in this ball of people having so much fun. And we were there 2 hours, easy 2 hours, right? And that's the thing. We just found our people that day at the bar. That's what he was referring to. He says, you can find someone at the bar. You know, he's making that joke, but you want to find someone who is positive, who isn't a drunk or an alcoholic, or I should say a drug addict or anything like that, you know? Um, you want to try to keep those positive. So you might find people that help you feel less homesick, but ask that yourself if it's healthy what you're doing, right? Because when I was in the army, there was a girl that I met as a patient. Um, she was there for 4 weeks, and she had an STD, and that's why she was next door at the STD clinic, and they referred her to us. And you okay?
I was expecting that. Sorry.
So she was there for 4 weeks. Was at the STD clinic, and she's telling when you have an STD, you got to tell people who you slept with, so they can go to that person and test them, right? Because if they're sleeping with someone else, that's how STD spread. She gave the guy 8 names, okay, and he's like, I think you could benefit from some counseling. So this girl comes over to see me. Now, remember, we're in the army. We're supposed to be in uniform, and she comes in a very nice dress. And I said, "Oh, are you off today? We could have rescheduled." She says, "I'm not off."
Oh,
That means she went to come to an appointment with her counselor. And I said, "Okay, do you know why you're here?" "Yes, we talked about it." And I said, "Let me ask you, why?" I'm trying to think how I phrased it. I said something like, "What is it about you that people like?" And I was trying to like get her to say she's a fun personality, something like that, right? And I was going to say you can have all that, but don't go being a whore. Anyway, when I said, because I was expecting to go a different path, she says, "Well, my breasts, of course." And I was a 19-year-old kid, right? One of my first clients I ever had, and I'm trained counselor. I'm still learning. She does this, and I just looked at her and I said, "Why?" She says, "What do you think of them?" And I said, "Why do you think it's important that I give you my opinion on that? We're not here to talk about that." And I kept it all serious. Like after the fact, I talked to my buddies and everything. They were laughing at me. I can't believe that happened. Blah 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 blah. Right? And they were like, "I don't know if I'd been able to keep it straight face. I don't know if I could do counseling. I would have been staring the rest of the time." And I said, "I don't know. But one thing I will tell you is I learned that day that you have to be professional to do your job, any job. Now, you know me. I like to joke around and tell jokes and be funny and this and that. I can do my job and still be that person, you know. But the people that I'm talking to, if they're not my people, I can't be funny around them. I have to be very serious around them, right? Even when I started working somewhere, everyone's like, you're a little, I don't know, crazy to be a counselor. How do you do that? And I would say something like, well, because what you see here is not the person I'm in the office when I'm doing counseling, you know? And it's like, I'm a teacher now, and, you go out and kids see you drinking, they're like, oh, I didn't know you drank. I'm like, yeah, I can have a beer every now and then. I'm an adult. It's legal. I'm a human too. I enjoy the movies. I enjoy going out to eat. And that's the weirdest thing for you to bump into your teacher, right? Anyway, when you're in college and you bump into your teacher at the bar, that's really awkward because if you're not in, like if you're no longer in classes together and you had a crush on them, you can actually try dating them. That's really weird, I know, but
Never
you
had
know,
that, but yeah.
you never had. What did you do? I just heard a pop. I'm like, I've never heard you do that before. See, anyway,
Man.
yeah. So you can go out, you can meet people, you might even meet your teachers. Who knows, right? But you go out there. So
Oh,
it would, right?
like start going out with someone that I think is cute. Start going out, and then next semester they're my teacher or
Well,
TA.
oh,
Oh,
oh, yeah. That's what I'm saying. It can happen.
oh,
It
that'd
can
be
happen.
funny.
Now, what happened to me one time? This is really funny. I was at school at community. I used to teach face to face before I did online, and I'm sitting in class waiting for the class to get started. Right? I'm there with your mom. She's hanging out with me. It's the first day of class, and one of our friends from the club walks in. Hey, what's up? High five, whatever. Um, and we talk for maybe 5-10 minutes, and I'm like, oh, I gotta go. Class is starting. He goes, oh, what class do you have? And I stood up. I said, hi, everybody. I'm your teacher. He's like, whoa, wait a minute. He didn't know I was a teacher. And we just, we laughed it off, right? But it was cool having a friend in the class that I was teaching, you know? Um, so, yeah, you can become friends with the teacher. It doesn't mean you can't, but you just never know what'll happen, you
Yeah.
know? And I don't mean like you're going to go date them. I'm talking about you can hang out with your teacher. But like you said, if I date someone and they end up being a TA, you're like, oh, no, that would be funny, right?
That would be funny.
That would be funny.
I'd be like texting her. I'm going to class. Okay, me too.
I'll see
I'm
you
like,
there.
I'll,
Right?
I'll see you like after, I walk
Right.
in, she's right there. I'm like, oh, hi.
Yeah, so, oh man. Well, the hot take, as we were saying, was the paradox of being around people and still feeling lonely is something that we really got to talk about. But before we dive deeper into that action, we want to make sure we go over some of the terms that we're talking about so that we're on the same page. And we're going to be talking about laying down the coals. We'll give you the key definitions and context when you need to understand the topic. Ready? Pause. Look at the camera. Play.
Before we dig in, let's clarify the 3 key terms we'll be using today. Homesickness. This is the distress or anxiety from being away from home. It's a normal part of any major life transition. Social anchor. This is a person, place, or routine that gives you a genuine sense of stability and connection in a new place. Identity exploration. College is a time of figuring out who you are and what you value, a process often accelerated by new freedoms and challenges. Here to talk more about each point are the Murph Man and Connor.
All right, so we're gonna head to break, and we'll be right back. Does that work for you, Con?
So sudden, but I mean, I guess
All right.
we're going to break. And
Now we're back from break, you guys, and on the break, I was playing a suicide awareness video, and I want to pause for a moment. I was inspired by Ryan Spencer's song "Make 22 Again." Connor can tell you, from the first time I heard it, I was just like emotional. I don't cry, but I was like,
it hit
it
home.
hard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it
hit
hit
hard.
hard.
I was looking, I'm like, oh, good.
Yeah, and yeah, they're just thinking about it. I love the song. And making 22 again refers to the 22 suicides a day. Again, that's from 2012. The stats are better now. It's still 17 or 18 a day. But the phrase 22 again is what we're using. And I'd like to remind you that help's always available 24/7, 365. And if you feel you need help, you can always dial 988 and press 1, or you can text 838-255. There's always someone ready to listen to you. Remember, you are not alone. And that's a great segue to talk into aloneness when you're talking about laying down the coals. You know, uh, let's define our terms, and let's find out what we're going to be talking about today in our segment called Laying Down the Coals.
Before we dig in, let's clarify the three key terms we'll be using today. Homesickness. This is the distress or anxiety from being
Hold on.
away from
Oops.
home.
Oops. We're back. We already did it, and then you're like, all right, we're going to break. All right.
Okay, I
This
am
is so hilarious.
I'm so
Okay, last thing you did was you played the video and then said we're going to break.
oh, that's what it was.
Yes. So you already did the
The
clip.
break. And then I did suicide awareness comments. And then,
You were supposed to do laying down the coals. But you said that. That's why I thought we were going to break.
all right, so, and now it's time for laying down the coals.
Before we dig in, let's clarify the three key terms we'll be using today. Homesickness. This is the distress or anxiety from being away from home. It's a normal part of any major life transition. Social anchor. This is a person, place, or routine that gives you a genuine sense of stability and connection in a new place. Identity exploration. College is a time of figuring out who you are and what you value, a process often accelerated by new freedoms and challenges. Here to talk more about each point are the Murph Man and Connor.
Homesickness. This is the distress or anxiety from being away from home. Social anchor, that person, place, or routine that's going to keep you grounded. And the identity exploration. College is a time of figuring out who you are and what you value. It's a process over time and associated with new freedoms, right? And along with that comes challenges. You say, with great power comes great responsibility. And that's the thing. When I like Spider-Man.
It's a me.
What's it mean? What's it mean?
With great power comes great big booty bitches.
You're stupid. So
I'm sorry. That's just too funny. I thought you were gonna say that because it's a animation with Kermit the Frog.
okay, I have not seen this.
I'll show you
Well,
after.
definitely gonna have to see it on the break. Yeah.
With great power. Okay, restart.
So the thing about being in college, you have this new power of going out and doing things, meeting things. You have new schedules, and you want to find out what you have to do to get to your people. So when we talk about those terms, okay, and the last one is the identity exploration. I always ask, what do you want to be when you grow up? It's not about kids only. You can ask that to adults because the phrase really means what are you expecting to happen after this, right? We're all silly. We're being stupid right now, but what's going to happen after this? Well, you're going to have to get jobs and have a real life. You know what I mean? But what are you going to do when you grow up is one of those things that you have to ask yourself. But I will tell you this, nothing shows the importance of social anchors more clearly than a real life example. So let's move on to the story from the fire. Ready?
If you've ever struggled with feeling alone in college, listen up. Chloe spent her first 2 weeks of college calling her parents every night and just rewatching old shows from home. She was lonely. On a whim, she forced herself to go to the campus involvement fair and signed up for the hiking club. On her very first hike, she met another student, and they instantly bonded over a shared, ridiculous love for bad 80 Seconds music. That new friendship became her social anchor. It didn't replace home, but it created a reason to engage with her new life. Go ahead and tell everyone about her, Connor.
the right one?
No, I've looked at it before. That's why.
Okay, so here you're going to see what happens when I'm right.
Oh, 20. Last day of classes, December 5th, dead day, December 8th through 12th, fall final exam.
Oh, okay. So December 4th is the last day of school, but the
we still
exams are the
got
week
final.
after.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I'm like, we still got finals. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Let
We
me-
still got finals.
Let me tell you why. I have an appointment on the 5th, and I looked at my calendar this morning, and it said last day for UTEP because that's what the academic calendar says.
What's dead day?
That day is like a day off for everybody.
Oh,
nothing's happening that day.
Okay, I was like, oh, okay.
But we need to know the people we're hanging around with, have them be a positive influence, study together, do those things. And as we're doing it, realize that you're heading somewhere, you're going somewhere with them, either with them or without them, but you're going somewhere. I think right now is a great time to bring up the heat map, the guide to some actionable steps that you can take when you're feeling homesick. And we call that segment called the heat map.
The number one lie you've been told about finding your people is that it just happens. Here are the 3 steps on the heat map for finding your people. Schedule calls home, but don't let them be a replacement for engaging with your new environment. Give yourself a time limit. Say yes to invitations, even when you genuinely don't feel like it. Go to the dorm movie night or grab a meal with someone from class. These low-stakes moments build trust. Find a third place that isn't your dorm or a classroom, a coffee shop, the gym, a specific library corner where you feel comfortable being alone but present. Those 3 steps are very important, aren't they, Murph Man?
Important, and we will get to them right when we come back from break.
Go through the section, then say, we'll get back to you. Since you already mentioned section.
I'm so off without the commercials. So off.
Do it again.
With Clory's Clorox.
Sorry.
With Clory's. You guys, if you don't know already, I'm Mexican. My first language is Spanish, and there's certain words, phrases, letters together that I always have trouble saying, like otter. I said that.
Well, you can say restaurant.
Let's try this again. Okay.
Okay. So, come back from the heat map. 3,
No,
2,
hold on.
1.
With Chloe's story in mind,
Mm-hmm.
let's talk about some of the mat.
Oh, this is hilarious. Dude, you're gonna have so much fun editing all of this
I
out.
don't think so.
You're
I don't
not.
think so.
Hey, upstairs right now, I love you. Thank you for doing it before the game so I could go. But you're gonna have fun editing all of this out
Yeah.
and putting the breaks in.
Yeah. So the thing is, I can actually take the audio from a break and just superimpose it, and it's there. It's ready to go.
We have to say.
Hunter, I can get the audio from another break and just edit it in.
Well, I mean,
I'm not getting really good because last week, and I'm doing it again. That's the video I'm recording on,
yeah,
and this is the audio I'm using, and I have to sync this audio with that audio. That's why we have the little mics here.
Yeah.
So I can edit it. It's not a problem. I just thought of that. I could always just do the commercial, come back from break. Anyways, after Chloe's story, we're going to talk about some of those guides to the actionable steps called the heat map. The heat map, you guys. Schedule your calls home, but don't let them be a replacement for engaging with people. And give yourself a time limit, okay? What I mean by that is, how often should you call home when you're away?
Well, like just like my cousin does with her mom once a week.
Once a week.
Actually, no, I lie. Every day. She does every day.
Okay.
But I'd say like once a week, like towards the end of the week, what's happened.
I don't know if you would want to call every day,
No.
right? How many times have I seen you come home from school? How was your school today? Good, nothing happened. All right, work, nothing happened. And that was it.
Yeah.
There's nothing to catch up on, right?
Yeah. But they like
Well,
ever since time I go to the house, every time I see her on the phone with my older cousin Danica. Every single time.
right.
Not hating, not hating. I'm just saying.
But
Every single time.
a phrase that us boomers have to get used to from the young studs over here is, "Hey, have you talked to such and such?" Yeah, I talked to her the other day. I have to ask, did you talk on the phone or did you text each other, right? Because you guys say I talked to her, but you really mean I texted her. You know,
Well, but you've heard we say talk because you've heard back from that person.
yeah, you know,
I mean, it doesn't
you had a
matter. You could
conversation online. Is that really a talk? Have you texted each other?
well, it's coming from themselves, so
It's a conversation, but
but
it's not a
it's
talking.
talking.
I don't see that's
Well,
that's what I'm saying.
we say talk. Well, deaf people. Do you do talking or
Oh, you want to talk about deaf people?
deaf, not deaf?
Deaf people, yes.
Okay. Like, don't bring mom into this conversation.
We already done talking about mom. Uh, when someone is deaf, okay, they have a language using sign language, right?
I would hope
How
so.
do you get the emotion across when you can't yell?
I don't want to do it.
What?
Well, like my interpretation.
No, no, I'm being serious. Not making jokes. Nonverbal behavior. If you're angry, you clench your fists, right? But how can you clench your fists if you're trying to talk? Does it make sense? Right? So they could do it emphatically. They can be more expressive. They can do that's their way of communicating non-verbally, but they're actually communicating verbally using their hands. If that makes any sense, you know. So that it is communication. One thing I think is funny is I used to do parenting classes, and I had this one person call me, and she says, "I have a client who is deaf. Can you can you do a class for them, or can he go to your class?" I said, "Of course he can go to my class. He just needs the interpreter." I did not realize it's federal law that I, as a counselor, have to provide the interpreter for them. Yeah, as a company, we have to pay for someone to come and interpret for them. I never knew this. I never, ever, ever knew this. So that
True,
it
because I mean, you don't expect them to get an interpreter with their money.
right.
But I guess because I have a deaf friend from middle school, from 7th grade. We
Yeah.
played football together.
Uh-huh.
His interpreter, Miss E, she's fun. She's funny. He came from middle school to our high school with him.
Right.
So I just thought she was like a family friend or like they paid her to like stay with him.
Well, that's a good point.
That's what I thought. And then she was like with other kids, obviously, so she got paid from them, from the school
Well,
or something.
when you're in the district, that's your job to go interpret for the person. So she was getting paid to do that.
Well, but
But
like,
if I'm a company and I want to bring you in, like for example, if I wanted to bring a deaf person into the show, I'd have to provide my own interpreter for them.
well, I'm just saying like that connection they have.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
just
yeah.
thought they were like, because
Well,
they've known each other
for
before 7th grade.
yeah, for a long time.
So that's why I thought they were like, already good with each other. I didn't know the school paid her.
Yeah, she
And
worked at the
then
school.
my high school paid her again
Yeah,
because they had a connection.
yeah. The
I didn't know
district.
that. I thought it was just like they got her
Yeah,
or him because they had a good connection.
Anna was an interpreter.
Yes, yeah.
You know,
Well, he is. She's still learning, but she mostly just babys.
there's who? Who is Anna? Who is Anna? I'm talking about the Anna that I was hanging around with,
Oh,
the one that worked with me at school and was an interpreter.
oh,
That's what we're talking about.
oh. I'm
We're
sorry.
talking about interpreters.
Anna.
Oh, so that's
She's the
funny.
interpreter.
All right, coincidence. We never talked about his Anna.
Yeah, she's with one of the kids from my school, and she's like like a babysitter, but she's also learning sign language
Yeah,
because one like he's a deaf kid.
maybe it's an internship or something. Now you know what's really cool. When you go to high school, you have to learn a second language. You have to take 2 years of a foreign language. Sign language is considered a foreign language.
I would have rather sign language
I
than
asked you if you
Spanish
didn't want to do it.
because I didn't want to be busy with my hands. I don't want to be at home and
Well,
yeah,
the nice thing in the club, you could be signing someone if you're talking to them. You don't have to worry about the noise. There's a lot of advantages to learning sign language.
call texting.
Okay. Um, but what I was getting at was one thing I didn't know about the interpreter, you got to pay them. But, and this is interesting, okay? Nowadays we're on camera, right? We can go online. We have Zoom calls. We have Google Meets, Snapchat. What's the other one that you talk? WhatsApp. Okay.
WhatsApp,
So if I
Facebook.
want to talk to someone online and they're deaf, they have to use a program that will translate for them. So what ends up happening is I would talk to the person, and on their screen, there is someone sign language for them. And then whenever they say something to them, they'll sign to them, and then they'll say it back to you. And the interpreter that I was working with, Sonia, really cool. We ended up having 4 couples that were deaf. So like I think I parented all the deaf families that needed it all at once. It was pretty cool. But we were talking, and she says, in those conversations, I have to translate for them. And I said, that's gotta be weird because you're communicating between 2 people. She goes, no, no, no. That's not the weird part. The weird part is when they're having sex talk. They're sexting, but verbally. She has to repeat everything that the guy says to the person and vice versa.
Oh,
And she's in the middle. She says, that is like the most awkward thing that we have to do. But she says it's just part of the job. That's things I never thought of, you know?
yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool. Anyway, going back to the phone calls. God, we're getting so sidetracked today. It's because on Saturday mornings, when we normally do this, we wake up and we come straight here. We don't come after a full day of work and school and everything and have a lot on our minds. But I want you to call home at least once a week so I know you're okay, right? That's all I ask for. You live with me right now. I see you. Okay. When you come home, text me you're home. But your cousin, when she's out, her mom's like, you need to call me when you get home, right? And I'm like, no, she's living her own life over there. With Connor, if I'm here in El Paso and he's here in El Paso, I just want him to know I just want to know where he is. So in case something happens and when we come home, that's all I want. It's just a courtesy because I live with him. But if I didn't live with him, I wouldn't expect him to be telling me every night where he's going. You're not going to be like, okay, I'm out of class. We're going to go to the union. And after that, we're going to go eat at water. You're not going to tell me those things.
Well, it's because it's out of town. It's like you don't hear back from them from a while. You just wonder.
Yeah. So you want to do that once a week. Another thing is say yes to invitations. When you genuinely don't feel like it, you have to get out there and do stuff. That's how we overcome depression. All right. Is doing things to get back into the routine of being something positive. All right. Go to the movie night at school. I've told you to go to that. I mean, you didn't go to all the time, but you went a couple times. You know, grab a meal with someone. Just do little things and build a relationship and build trust. You were talking about trust. Okay. That's actually what I was waiting to get to talk about that. And the third place, what do you think the third place is? We just, I don't know if we got to hear it or not, but what do you think the third place is?
Somewhere could call home, or like a backup to get backup. The way I think
Ex-
of it.
exactly. That's exactly what it is. It's not your best friend or where you do all the time. It's what happens when this person is not there and this person is not there. Who's your backup? What's your backup? What are you going to do? And
Where
one of
if
the
home
things,
doesn't feel safe, school doesn't feel safe, where would you go?
yeah. And the night that your mom and I started talking about maybe getting together, I called my friend Ralph and Maria, and both of them said they didn't want to go out that night. I called your wife, your mom. She said, I don't want to go out tonight. So I called my brother, and we went somewhere, and I got really, really drunk. And I had just bought a new pair of boots. I didn't scuff them up, so I was slipping and falling. It was really, really, really a bad night. But anyway, I'm walking into the bar, and I see Maria, Ralph, and your mom. I was like, you. I was angry. I was so angry. And then Maria, your mom, was like, after you called us, we all started talking. We're like, yeah, let's go. That's why we're here, because you got us together. I'm like, well, I'm not here with you. I'm here with my brother, so piss off. I was pissed.
Wow.
That's the night. Yeah, I gave your mom a ride home, and I started talking about how much I like spending time with her, and I really, really, really like spending time with her, and same thing, and started like talking about stuff. That's how it started. And the actual moment, I'm not going to talk about the actual moment she decided to go out with me. It's pretty funny, but it involved another girl. You remember?
That you
Yeah.
had an advisor.
Yeah. I had a picture of another girl in the car. We weren't dating, right? And I said, I'm going to go hit on this girl, and she got all pissed off. She's like, no, you're not. And that's it. Uh, so anyway, the thing is, you have to have that third place to go, have a backup whenever you have nothing going on. That's the most important thing we got, is something else is happening. Okay. And once we get that, you can even have a fourth place and a fifth place. Have backups. Going to this one place every week, and all of a sudden it burns down. Smokies on Litrovinos burned down one night. And they used to be a karaoke for Tuesdays. So not only did they lose the business and everything, right? But the people who were going there for Tuesday night karaoke had to find somewhere else to go. And the guy who was running that had to go somewhere else. And then they eventually rebuilt it. He didn't come back, as far as I know. I don't think he did. But the point being is, sometimes you don't have it's not in your control when things change. Okay, it's not in your control. And I saw a shadow back there. Sorry.
I'm facing the side gaze.
Yeah, so sorry about that. And yeah, so have that third place to go, and really think about what you're doing so that you can keep yourself busy. Right. So those are the actionable steps that we call the heat map. When we get back, we're going to talk about where you're going to get burned with some pitfalls. We're going to talk about heat shields, where you could protect yourself from getting burned and avoid those pitfalls. And of course, the afterburn with reflex questions for reflection. See, I can say it that way. I just can't say it with questions for reflection. But we'll get to that after the break. Hold on. Right. Are you playing it?
Mm-mm.
What?
I hit the live because that's what I do, and I
Yeah.
just hit transition to nothing.
Oh, okay.
I'm just live to live. I'm like, okay.
All right. So we're gonna talk about where you're gonna get burned in a little bit, but before we get back to the show, Hot Takes with the Murph Man streams live every Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time on Military Broadcast Radio at mbrradio.us. That's the website. Military Broadcast Radio. We give veterans a voice and help them launch their own podcasts. So make sure to visit purehottakes.com for all my socials and special discount link to stream 915. Thanks for coming back, you guys. We talked about the heat map, and we've talked about we have to be cautious with pitfalls, right? Because things will happen. So let's talk about some of those pitfalls in our section called Where You Get Burned.
A few critical pitfalls to avoid. Don't hide in your dorm room. Your people can't find you if you're invisible. Visibility is required for connection. Don't expect to find instant best friends. Real, deep connections take time and shared experiences. Be patient. Stop comparing your social life to other people's Instagram stories. You are only seeing their highlight reel, not their messy, complicated reality. Let's hear from the Murph Man about these pitfalls in more detail.
All right. First off, you don't want to hide in your dorm room, right? You got to get out of your dorm room. That's the first thing. You got to get out. And if you live in a dorm that has like a hallway and it's indoors, right?
Well, I
Because
mean, that's
no,
every
no,
dorm.
no. There's some that are like individuals. Like, well, yeah, I guess so, huh?
They all have a hallway.
They all have a hallway.
You have to get in the room somehow.
Yeah, but you have the 4 people in the room now. You don't have like 20 people in the room. That's what I was thinking from the army.
Oh, like sharing the same room.
Yeah,
Same room, but like,
yeah,
but they don't have. Yeah,
yeah.
same room.
So you have people living in the room with you,
But not in your own room,
right?
because you
Well,
all have your own room. Sometimes
no, I think
it depends.
no. Like you can have 2 people in the same room.
Well,
That's the
yeah,
thing,
they fill up, but you have a chance to not have someone.
right? But imagine having a roommate.
Well, you have to.
You have to, or like suite mates. You have to have bathrooms open so you can go to the bathroom from both sides. So that means you have to have the door open. They can come over from their room to your room. You don't think of stuff like that, right?
Well, I mean, that's if, but they don't have. I've been in the dorms.
Okay. But
They have bathrooms.
the point is, you got to get out of your dorm room, even if you have someone living with you. Okay, you got to go out, and can't be invisible, you guys. You got to go out and make connections, and don't expect to find instant best friends. That doesn't happen. Okay, you're not going to find Alex everywhere you go. All right. Real deep conversations take time, and you share the experiences. It takes time to get to that point. You don't just do that at the very beginning. And last but not least, stop complaining your social life to other people's Instagram stories. Sorry, complaining. I can't say it. Comparing. God. Stop comparing your life to other people's Instagram stories. You're not seeing their highlight reel, not their messy stuff that really goes on behind the scenes, you guys. You know, how about you, Connor? Do you ever look at someone or someone's TikTok or they're on vacation and you're like, man, I wish I was that person.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are they doing that you wish you could do?
Go out.
And what's stopping you?
At school, I don't have the money. Broke. I don't got a ride.
Okay.
They're more free than I am.
Okay. But if you were to go get a job and start working and could get your own car and had money, would you want to do what they're doing? Or would you want to do things because you want to do things?
I have money. I want to do what I want. I
Right.
have the money for it.
Yeah, but you're not doing it because they're doing it. You're doing it because you want to do it.
Well,
That's yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, they gave me the suggestion. Oh, you know what? That's nice.
Like my friend, she just got back from a month in Hawaii. Okay. A whole month in Hawaii.
Just for dog sitting.
And she was dog sitting with somebody. So they paid her to go over there.
For a month.
Well, I guess they didn't pay her. They
No, they
paid for her trip over there, I'm assuming. Right? Anyway.
Trip and then what? All that? Where they went?
No. No, she stayed at their house.
Oh. Oh.
Pet sitting.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
never mind.
You with me now?
Continue.
Tracking? All right. So yeah, it's one of those things where you see someone's life online and you're like, oh God, man, I'm so jealous of that person. I wish I could. I wish I could. You know, you don't see the struggles they have behind the scenes. You don't see everything that they have to deal with behind the scenes. Just because you see someone's stuff on Instagram, or they're not living the life. Not always. You did something the other night that I've never seen you do. You took a picture of your food. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Why'd you take a picture of your food?
To show my friends how much I eat. And I did the same thing at teppanyaki for my 18th
Yeah, but
because I had 3 different plates. I think I still have it.
It was
but continue.
well, we're not going to show it to them, but
No, I know, but like I'm gonna just tell you like what I had.
But the thing is, he went to the buffet, it's all you can eat, and he got 3 plates, and by the time he got to all his food, it was already cold.
Well, no, it was still warm. It was
Was
just
it?
yeah, long.
So, it's one of those things that you gotta really think about, don't compare your life to someone else because you don't know what's going on their side, behind the
Exactly.
scenes. Okay, so don't ever say you wish you had their life because maybe their life is more screwed up than yours. Or like me, when we went to Vegas or to our 7-week vacation to DC and Atlanta and St. Louis, I had to work so hard to get that money together to be able to do that. 'Cause, I mean, like both trips cost me, one was costing like almost 7,000, the other one was like, you know, 6 or 7,000 too. That's just, I don't have that kind of money. I was working extra jobs. I was doing Uber. I was doing everything I could. So, and then COVID hit. So, there was a lot of things going on. Just because you see someone having this great life does not mean that they're always going to have a great life. So just be aware of that, you guys. All right. All right. End it. Yeah.
Those no hour burn.
The meeting's starting at 6.
Yeah, 15 minutes. That was 5:45.
Thought I put it for 15.5. Oh well.